Ready to transform your life sin límites? In this episode, I'll walk you through 5 powerful steps, reflect on your raíces, clarify your vision, discover your strengths, set mission-driven goals, and take bold action to embrace growth. Let's create the limitless life you deserve. For many Latinas, not knowing your purpose can feel like being stuck in a fog, unable to see the road ahead. You've worked hard and done what you were supposed to do, but deep down, there's this gnawing feeling. Is this all there is? Am I meant for more? You dream of a life sin límites, but the how feels elusive. There's this constant tug of war between wanting more and feeling stuck, between honoring your raíces and building your camino. It's a challenge I see so often in our community. Maybe you feel the pressure to meet expectations of tu familia, tu cultura, or even contigo misma. The pressure is real. Family expectations, cultural traditions, and societal standards can weigh heavily. You're told to honor your raíces, yet the idea of stepping outside the norm to chase something bigger feels like walking a tightrope, balancing what you want and what others expect. Maybe you've even felt guilty for dreaming beyond the boundaries set before you. You worked hard, took the traditional steps, and overcame challenges, but you still find yourself asking, what's next? Then there's that doubt, the little diablita on your shoulder saying, what if I'm not good enough? What if I try and fail? You look around and see others who seem to have it all figured out, and you wonder, why can't I feel that clarity? Why don't I know what my purpose is? It's isolating, frustrating, and exhausting. On top of that, you feel that you're at a crossroads. Society whispers, you should have it all together by now. But how do you choose a path when you don't even know which direction to face? Let me tell you something. Not having all the answers right now is okay. No estás sola. And as your Latina mentor, I'm here to help you fix it. Deep down, there's this fire inside you, a quiet yet strong voice saying you're meant for more. You don't want to settle for a life sin límites. You want libertad, options, joy, and impact. You want to do something meaningful, something that makes you orgullosa of the life you're building. Look around you. You're not alone. So many Latinas feel this same uncertainty. But what makes us poderosas is that we don't stop there. Our Latina resiliency is unmatched. Even when we don't have the answers, we keep going. We keep blooming from the concrete. Finding your purpose isn't about having it all figured out today. It's about taking small steps, one by one, toward a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. And remember, the fog always clears when you start walking. You've got this because as a Latina, blooming from concrete and rising above is what you were born to do. Hola y bienvenida. I'm your host and Latina mentor, Vanessa Rae Alonso. Muchas gracias for listening to Latina Sin Limites, my podcast para tus sueños, tu business y todo lo que quieres conseguir en la vida, relaciones, dinero y más. I'm a speaker, business hada madrina, immigration attorney, and CEO of Alonso & Alonso Attorneys at Law, where I make dreams come true and keep families together. On the second episode of Latina Sin Limites, we're breaking it down. 5 steps to help you live purposefully and pave your mission-driven path. These steps are rooted in action. Lean towards your strong roots and your unique power as a Latina who refuses to settle for less and wants a life sin límites. We must determine our purpose because that will serve as our life's North Star. Living without purpose can lead to emptiness, dissatisfaction, and a lack of direction, making it harder to find motivation or meaning in life. This can result in emotional struggles, wasted potential, and difficulty navigating challenges. Believe me, I've been there. People living without a determined purpose fall prey to aimless decisions. We'll be uncertain about which path to choose in our careers, negotiations, family planning, or even how to spend our free time. Pero cuando sabemos our purpose, we will ask ourselves if the decisions we're about to make are in alignment with it. Does this align with my values, support my goals, add meaning or growth to my life? When the answer is C, you will know it's supporting your mission. We'll start by defining fulfillment for you because your version of success matters. It's not about what the world expects. It's about what fires you up. Then we'll identify your goals and break down those big, overwhelming sueños into small, achievable goals. From there, we'll discuss how to create a mission statement so you can focus on what matters. Finally, we'll talk about Latina resiliency again because living with purpose isn't about perfection. It's about persistence, learning from lo malo, and celebrating lo bueno. You've already got everything you need to live sin límites. It's in your DNA as a true Latina sin límites. Recuerda that tus raíces give you fuerza. Your passion fuels your ambition, and your Latina resiliency ensures you'll bloom and rise above and against all odds. You're here to create, to inspirar, and to build something that reflects the Sin Límites potential dentro de ti. So grab your cafecito, get comfortable, and let's talk about how to take that first step toward living a mission-driven life. Because the days of flying sola, they're over. Step number 1 is to reflect on your raíces and passions. This step is all about going back to basics. If you listened to episode 1, you know we did a simple identity check-in journaling exercise. We called it your evidence sheet, which lists your values, identifies who you are, and highlights the moments that you feel authentic to you and bring out your magia. And if you haven't listened to episode 1, then add it to your queue so you don't miss out. Now for the first step, we're building on your evidence sheet. So take a moment to think about your raíces, your upbringing, your cultura, and the lessons that shaped you to be the Rose you are today. Let's take a look at my values, which are wealth and abundance. These two have been guiding lights that have shaped my life and career as a lawyer over the past 14 years. These values also motivated me to start my law firm and shape my current purpose of elevating the underserved to abundance. But how did this happen? And how can we get you to a place of abundance? We'll be doing an exercise to help you connect with your cultural heritage and identify what excites and motivates you the most. I call it a heritage map, and it's going to help you explore your roots. So in your journal, I want you to draw a circle. We're going to draw a circle and divide it into 3 sections. On the top, you're going to label it My Heritage Map. Now, I'm going to ask you 3 different questions, which are going to help guide filling out this heritage map with your answers. In the first section of this circle, write down the answer to this question. What life lessons from your familia or cultura have shaped you? The answer can be negative or positive. We can build from both. While you write down your answer, I'll share how the life lesson of growing up with limited options shaped me. Like any success story, I came into this world born with the odds stacked not only against me, but against my mom, who was a 15-year-old young survivor when I came to be. She was living with my grandfather in Orange County, California, who had stolen her from her mother at the age of 8 and subjected her to unimaginable abuse and poverty for years. Shortly after I was born, my mother set out to find her mom for the first time, realizing the depths of a mother's love and how important that was to her now that she was a mother too. That depth of a mother's love brought us to El Paso, Texas, the great border city where we lived in a 1.5-bedroom single-wide trailer with my aunt and grandparents. My bio father wasn't in the picture, so my mom and I shared the sofa sleeper in the living room until she met and married my dad, the man who raised me when I was only 3 and who saved us from poverty. I had 2 working parents who together kept us in a middle-class lifestyle, which was a huge upgrade from the 1.5-bedroom trailer and inherited generational poverty. 10 years later, they divorced when I was 13 and entering high school. Seeing us go from a dual-income home with a family focused on financial goals to my mom's smaller income and newly single mom lifestyle plus child support had a huge impact on my life. My parents had to support 2 separate households, which is a luxury that middle-class families just cannot afford. My life lesson of living with limited options is a generational life lesson that affected my mom and was passed down to me. She had limited options, and through her Latina resiliency, my mom made the best decision out of those limited choices. Seeing my mom struggle with money, depression from the divorce, and navigating the world as a single woman who had never had a childhood or a teenhood was challenging. She was trying to make the best of her freedom and navigate uncharted waters, while my sister and I craved the stability of the family that we once had. Witnessing my mother struggle and feeling the struggle myself caused a deep hunger for success and financial independence. I never wanted to rely on anyone for money, not even my partner, because I saw marriages as built on sand. I decided that whatever I ended up doing in life, I would earn well and help my family make up for our inherited generational poverty. The life lesson of limited options that I had inherited would be transformed into limitless options filled with abundance and wealth. Fortunately, I also inherited my mom's Latina resiliency, this strong rose that would help me bloom to make this all happen. Perhaps your life lesson is having Latina resiliency, a cultural and generational life lesson from your familia that reminds you that challenges build character and fuerza. As we covered In the first episode, when life gets hard, you lean into your Latina resiliency. It's in your DNA. And remember that your ancestors faced even greater obstacles and thrived to get you here today. So as a modern day Latina, you are gifted with opportunities your ancestors could never have fathomed. So the struggle is part of the journey. It doesn't define you, but you learn from that life lesson, that the lesson made you stronger. And you now have the knowledge and evidence that you can and will bloom from any challenge. Now, in the middle section of your heritage map, it's all about the principles that were passed down to you. Write down the following answers to this question. What principles were emphasized by your familia or comunidad? The principles heavily emphasized in my family are generosity and comunidad, which were passed down to me from my parents. I witnessed my parents helping others in our community, and it was instilled in me. My dad was a police officer, and my mom was a pseudo-therapist for all her friends and family. Even though they had struggles and limited options, my parents were generous and always lent a hand to their community. And that inspired me to always want to help others too. My dad was always the financially stable one in his family and also a police officer. So he was the one you called if you needed an emergency loan or when one of your extended family members had legal troubles like an arrest after family violence. My mom was the fixer. She would always lift someone and help them realize their potential to accomplish their dreams. As a teenager, I always asked her if her friends were actually her friends or her clients because all of the convos I overheard were deep, full of advice and strong emotional exchanges. As I grew up, seeing my parents do these things made me realize that no matter where you are or how much you have, you always have something to give. So utilizing the life lesson of limited options and transforming it into limitless options filled with abundance and wealth made me lean into my principles of generosity and community. Because in my journey of discovering my purpose and living a life sin límites, I also wanted to feel good in the process and ensure I helped people who reminded me of my mom and me, leaning on each other like strong roses and fighting our best to get ahead together. I gravitated towards the people who were creando milagros de nada, people that reminded me of my mom, the strongest survivor I know to date. People like my mom, who was just a teen when I was born and who, against all odds, still managed to climb through life and lift me up in the process. Through my work as an immigration attorney, business hada madrina to entrepreneurs, and a Latina mentor, I can confidently say that I am generously able to give back to my community so they too can reach abundance. So perhaps for you, it's also giving back to your community, or you have a strong sense of integrity and are always true to yourself and your values. Whatever it is, write that down in the middle section of your heritage map. Ahora, for the third part of your heritage map, we'll focus on igniting our passions. In this third section on the right of your circle, list 10 activities, topics, or causes that excite you and bring out your magia. Don't overthink, just write down. Write down anything that makes your corazón race or causes you to lose track of time. For example, mine are dancing, advocating, mentoring, and helping people start and grow their businesses. Perhaps yours are storytelling or mentoring the next generation of Latina leaders. Once you have listed 10 activities in your circle, I want you to identify your emotional spark. Look at your list, and next to each item, note how it makes you feel. For feelings, you can use words like empowered, joyful, orgullosa, energized, or libre. For example, my feelings when it comes to dancing are freedom and femininity. When it's advocating for causes like keeping families together, I feel accomplished and empowered. And when I'm mentoring young Latina entrepreneurs, I feel orgullosa and energized. Once you have your emotional spark for each, it's time for the passion connection question. So we listed your principles and life lessons and identified the activities that bring out that spark. These three elements are your cultural roots, the raíces that build up that rose that you are today. We'll now reflect on the passion connection question by combining insights from your heritage map to help you write a short paragraph. My reflection is, the life lesson of growing up with limited options fueled my Latina resiliency to work towards a life of abundance and wealth. I grew up with the principle of always giving back to my community while recognizing that I feel most alive when elevating the underserved to help them reach their limitless abundance. We'll then use this reflection to break it down into a simple purpose statement. For example, to create limitless and abundant options to elevate the underserved of my Latino community. By taking the time to do this exercise and reflection, you're committed to investing the time needed to water the seeds of your rose while creating a healthy and strong foundation for living with purpose and paving a mission-driven path. Remember, your roots give you strength, your passion fuels your ambition, and your Latina resiliency ensures that you will flourish no matter the challenges. Step number 2 is to clarify your vision of a life sin límites. Now that you've reflected on your raíces, it's time to dream big. We still have our journal out, and I want you to ask yourself, what does a life sin límites look like for me? Not your tia, not even your mom, nor what society expects from you, but for you. You are defining what sin límites means to you. If I'm thinking about what my life sin límites looks like when I'm 50 years old, then I'm in great shape. I'm dressing to kill, and every second of my life is spent doing something that brings me joy. I'm no longer working in my firm. I have a team running it in my spirit, but better than I could have ever run it on my own. My podcast has converted into a talk show featuring Latina change makers who are serving as the ultimate Latina role models for my daughters and granddaughters. I'm leading my nonprofit organization virtually, and it's raising millions for the Latino immigrant community. I'm also leading several unique property development projects and traveling with my husband, my besties, and my adult children who are in college and running successful businesses of their own. And to help you clarify your vida sin límites, I want you to close your eyes and visualize your ideal life 5 years from now. You don't even have to be 50. Try 5 years. Try 10. Try 15. Try for as long as you can. And visualize what you look like, what you're doing, how you spend your time, and what that feels like. Are you in the same state or are you living abroad? What are you doing? Who are you doing it with? Did you get that leadership role you dreamed of, or start your business and you're now growing your team or scaling it to the next level? Are you surrounded by Latina roses that empower and lift you up? The vision doesn't have to be perfect. It's about connecting you with what lights you up the most. Now open your eyes and write it down in vivid detail. It can be, I'm running my own business, traveling around the world with my amigas, and creating impact in my community by advocating for the underserved in my community. I feel confident, libre, and aligned with my purpose. And amiga, that right there is the roadmap you'll work towards to fuel your purpose and accomplish your mission. Don't worry, we'll break down this roadmap into actionable goals in the next steps. Now on to step 3, which is to define your strengths and gifts. Every single one of us has gifts that set us apart, which we can use to reach our vision of a life sin límites. These might be talents that you've been born with naturally or gravitate to, special skills that you've learned in a job or over time doing a hobby, or even qualities like empathy or Latina resiliency. But often, we downplay them because we think they're not special enough. So in your journal, write down the answer to these 2 questions. What do people come to you for advice about? And what comes naturally to you that others struggle with? And if you're not sure you need help, please ask a friend or someone close to you to help you answer these questions. When it comes to me, one of my strengths as an hada madrina, business hada madrina, is seeing the bigger picture and motivating founders to help them reach the next level and create sustainability. One example is helping out my friend Bree. My friend Bree has been working on an amazing home healthcare business for a long time. She was in a very, very difficult employment situation where she was expected to run and grow the entire company without adequate pay, while the owners were traveling around the world and underpaying everyone. I knew she could replicate a profitable business model that could treat her employees with dignity and respect, which I knew were values important to her. She only had a certain amount in savings to buy furniture and medical supplies, but she was frozen and couldn't take that leap. So as her business hada madrina, I bought a house and offered it to her so she could rent it out and start her home healthcare business. I wanted to be a Latina rose for my friend, so she could lean into me in the same way I leaned into the Latina roses who helped me get where I am today. So I charged her an introductory rental so she could start growing her business and take care of her clients. Long story short, Bree sends me messages like, my God, I and the kids cried just about how beautiful the house is and how happy the tenants are and how happy the staff is too. This is just the beginning for Bree, and I'm so excited because her work-life balance and happiness are better, and her outlook is hopeful and excited. So when it comes to helping Latina entrepreneurs like Bree, my strength isn't just providing support, like giving out a loan or providing business advice. It's about identifying how to make the process of getting a business off the ground as easy as possible. As a business hada madrina, it's like talking about Cinderella's fairy godmother, who gave Cinderella the dress, the shoes, the perfect hair, makeup, carriage, drivers, all together to the castle for the ball. And as a business hada madrina, mi fuerza are like roots. I'm not just helping Bree become independent and make her dream come true. I'm also creating a ripple effect of limitless options filled with proper care for the people she serves, opportunities for abundance for the team she's building, and representation of Latina leadership in her industry. If you're having trouble answering these questions, recuerda that you don't have to do it alone. Your Vida Sin Límites is about having options, and one great way to make these steps fun is to call your bestie, get some snacks, wear your comfy pajamas, and ask, what do you see as my strengths? You might be surprised by what they say. To help you and your bestie on this step, check out the links to the VIA Character Strengths Survey and the 24 Character Strengths. 2 free resources that help you recognize your strengths and talents are linked in the show notes. When you know what makes you unique, you can use those gifts to serve others and create impact. Knowing our strengths is not common knowledge. I encourage you to dive into this opportunity to learn about yourself and then how to leverage that knowledge to elevate others and yourself too. Step number 4 is to set goals and create your mission statement. This step is all about creating alignment between who you are and what you're working towards. For the first part of this step, we're breaking down your big dreams, the ones you visualize in your vision of life sin límites. And we're going to break it down into actionable goals. Because when you're feeling stuck and lost in the fog, it often comes from trying to do too much at once. Breaking things down creates momentum. Remember, a dream without a plan is just a wish. So from your vision of a life sin límites, choose one big dream and break it down into smaller goals. Let's say your big dream is to launch your business. You can take that and break it down to these goals. Number 1, write a business plan. Number 2, contact a business lawyer to file and make it official. Number 3, launch your website. And run a 7-figure business would be number 4. With each goal, you'll set deadlines to help you stay accountable. We can use a 2, 4, 6, and 8 method. This method helps you break down your goal and deadlines in 2 days, 4 weeks, 6 months, and 8 years. So goal number 1 is to write a business plan, and you have 2 days to write it. Goal number 2 is contacting a business lawyer to help you file your business, and you have 4 weeks to research what structure aligns with your needs and hire a lawyer or other professional to complete this goal. Goal number 3 is to launch your website. Well, the deadline is 6 months. So you have 6 months to outsource people to design your website, write your copy, have you check your copy, and take your headshots. And for the final goal of running a 7-figure business, you have 8 years to accomplish this goal and 8 years to work on this. Now you defined your values, identified your big dream goal, and broke it down into actionable goals with deadlines. For this last part of step number 4, we'll be creating a mission statement that will act as your guiding principle to keep you focused on what matters most. So for everything that we've identified today, I want you to combine them. Combine your life lessons, your principles, your strengths, gifts, goals, and passions into one sentence. Take the purpose statement you wrote in step number 1. I remind you of mine. Mine is to create limitless and abundant options to elevate the underserved of my Latino community. Then I integrate my mission statement, which is by helping undocumented Latinos obtain lawful status, avoid deportation, and mentoring Latinas in achieving their dream lives. So you can use this formula, and it's best to write this down. I want to blank by using my blank to blank. And I'm going to tell you what the blanks are. The first blank is an impact or action. The second is a unique strength or skill. And the third is your specific goal. So here's my finished statement. I want to create limitless abundance for the underserved of my Latino community by utilizing my strong visionary and advocacy ability to help Latinos obtain lawful status, and my mentoring ability and experience of building my abundance to help Latinas achieve their dream lives. Your mission statement is your map. This has your purpose and the impact you want to create while aligning with the activities that bring out your magia. Your purpose is a reflection of how you integrate these principles into a vision that guides your actions and your decisions moving forward. You'll feel more confident and purposeful in your journey. This final step is to take action and embrace growth. Start small. Whether it's signing up for a business class, volunteering as a Latina mentor, or launching your business. The key is to start, even if it's messy and even if you're scared. Recuerda, progress isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for you. When challenges come, lean on your Latina roses, learn from your setbacks, and keep going. Because at any point in time, when you find yourself stuck, unable to move on to the next level, unable to grow, when it's no longer in your control in the space that you're in, reference your mission statement. And if you're considering making a different move, then come back and do these steps. Recuerda that your Latina resiliency is in your blood. You are capable of creating moves and pivots to reach a life where you're not limited. A life where there's no ceiling to hold you down. A move where someone else is not deciding how much you'll be earning and how much you're worth. Living a vida sin límites is about evolving, adapting, and growing into your purpose. Now on to Caja de Tesoros. This segment is about recommending a helpful tool or resource that you can use to create a smooth journey in living with purpose and paving a mission-driven path. For today's Caja de Tesoro, it's Evernote. I love Evernote, and no, this is not sponsored. It's a tool I use to write notes, create tasks, and schedule them to keep me organized and focused. It even integrates with my digital calendar. You can use Evernote to transfer the notes you took today. You can even take photos of your notes and it will create them and type them for you. Evernote has AI tools that structure and summarize what you wrote as well. And those goals you wrote down, well, you can create to-do lists, and it keeps track of your deadlines so you can stay accountable to your vision of a life sin límites. So check out the link in the show notes and start working towards your life sin límites. Amigas, discovering your purpose is not an overnight process. It's a journey of reflection, dreaming, and taking intentional steps, sometimes baby steps. As Latinas, we are powerful and capable of creating lives that honor both our roots and our limitless potential. Remember that you have the Latina resiliency to pave the way for a vida sin límites. Let's do a quick recap of the 5 steps. Step number 1 is to reflect on your raíces and your passions. Step number 2 is to clarify your vision of a life sin límites. Step number 3 is to define your strengths and gifts. Step number 4, set goals and create a mission statement. Step number 5 is to take action and embrace growth. So here's your challenge. Start with step 1. Reflect on your roots and passions this week. DM me at Vanessa Rae Alonso or share your thoughts on social media by tagging at Latina Sin Limites pod. I'd love to hear how this process is unfolding for you. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. We're building comunidad and rising from the concrete juntas. That's it for today's episode of Latina Sin Limites. I am your host and mentor, Vanessa Rae Alonso, and you can find more from me at www.vanessaraealonso.com. Muchas gracias for listening to Latina Sin Limites. Tune in next week to learn how to break generational trauma by always seeing the love. Until then, stay bold, stay driven, and always remember, you're meant for more.